Andrew Goodwin here for AGD. I'm here to interview our first artist of the COVID season, Neal Breton. Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Why don't you give us kind of a little bit of background, where you're located, and how long you've been practicing as an artist?
I am currently located in Los Osos, California. I have been a resident of the Central Coast for about 10 years now. And I've been an artist for about 25, though, I don't know, about the last 10 are really the good years. Get the first 15 that were a little shaky.
Great.
Yeah.
So being located on the Central Coast, do you draw some of your inspiration from here? Where do you draw your inspiration mostly?
You know, it's so funny, it comes from everywhere. My recent pod of paintings are more like lush landscapes, and those are actually things that I've taken pictures of while I was in Los Osos. I'd be walking down there, and it could be someone's yard, but then again, it could just be out in the brush, what I like to call brush out there, just things that are occurring naturally in Los Osos are kind of stupendous in a lot of ways and amazing. So I draw my inspiration as of late for the last pod of paintings in and around the area, but I also am a big fan of architecture. So I guess I draw some of my stuff from books and some of my stuff from going to big cities, and Instagram sometimes is inspirational. Yeah, I guess I get it from everywhere. I guess I could have just said everywhere.
Well, you definitely have a unique style, and you can definitely see some of the architecture in there. That's why we love having you up. What's the name of the series that you have up at AGD right now, and what's that all about?
I think for the most part, I've been doing pool paintings or poolscapes, or I kind of, if I'm trying to write something that impresses people, if I'm trying to make my own word or definition of it, it's kind of Californianism. It's strictly like things that inspire me, because I'm not a native of California. I'm actually from New Hampshire. So the landscapes that I paint are nothing like where I grew up. Like pools are these like giant vats of like leaves full of bugs and things like that. They're always above ground. To me, it isn't paradise. It isn't it's just like it was like a suburban sort of thing. So I have to say that like living in California, these are all like my love letters to California, and the latest grouping of paintings is definitely more part of being just California as a whole, than maybe the previous kind of paintings, which were more like wanting to see if I could build structures and do architectural things. Not only that, I kind of always throw in models. I always throw in like friends and things like that are kind of part of this ongoing narrative that I also want to pay tribute to. Sometimes I want my paintings to be like the experience of you sitting there by yourself, and some of them I want to be more like you're part of something, or you're looking at something voyeuristically in a way. So there's a bunch of different things, and I think the stuff that's in AGD right now is a little bit of both, because there's some like bikini girls. I don't know what to call them. They're my friends who were models, who modeled for me. So they're part of that narrative. So those ladies are part of the thing, and then there's also like the other ones that are just kind of like a solemn paradise.
Yeah, we love we were looking at it the other day, and as you and I were talking, and also Reed stopped in the shop, you can definitely see a lot of California in there. You can imagine yourself in Palm Springs, Palm Desert. You can imagine yourself in the San Fernando Valley,
Yeah.
Definitely this mid-century kind of feel as well. So it's it's a wonderful display of color and art and voyeurism, I guess you could say, for sure.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm always about the color more than everything else. I'm big into color. I grab inspiration. Speaking, I guess, more about inspiration. I grab inspiration from street art. I grab inspiration from comic books. I grew up as like a comic book nerd, and color is something that is pretty much at the core of everything that I've done throughout the span of my career as an artist.
Awesome. So speaking of careers, what other hobbies do you have? What other things are you doing when you're not painting?
Well, I have a 2-year-old right now, so not much, but so mostly like, a varying amount of cleaning things up or trying to make this small human not die. But if you're talking about maybe outside of that, sometimes I'm a collector of things. So if I have time, I'll collect weird. I'll get on like little things and collect weird things. Like I have a small collection of vintage GI Joes
Oh, nice.
from the 80s. Yeah.
Nice.
But then I got to a point where it was becoming a problem. So then I stopped those kinds of things. All of my little hobbies on the side always become like, all right, I got to stop this, including my other thing that I mostly do is bake. So I was baking before the COVID thing made it cool. I hate saying that because I sound like such a hipster to say that, like, oh, I was baking before it was cool, but like I was baking things to kind of escape the job of painting, and I was making cookies and like mostly like cookies and cakes and things like that. And then that was another thing where I was like, I'm probably going to become a diabetic if I don't stop. So I gained like 10 pounds, so I had to stop for a while, and so now now I don't know, I guess I'm just sleeping when I'm not painting or working.
Well, at least you're close to the beautiful trails and beautiful parks in Los Osos, so you can always get outside and get some inspiration. That's for sure.
Yeah, big fan of nature out here. I think you have to be. So yeah, I love going on walks around here. It's really nice. It's peaceful.
That's awesome. Where else can we find some of your work? Tell the audience a little bit more about where we can find you and how to get in touch with you and follow you.
I'm pretty easy to find. You can find me at nealbreton.com on the internets, and on Instagram I'm at Neal Breton Art, or you could probably Google my name if you spell it right. There's probably a few pages of me doing weird things.
Awesome. Well, Neal, thank you for joining us, and guys, stop by 2050 Parker and check out some of Neal's work through the window. And again, go and check him out on Instagram and on his website. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Neal. Appreciate it.